all I remember is my takeaway is, oh, Nikita's above average at the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is like kind of a fuck you to everybody who's like, they don't play their own game. Like, okay, well, Nikita's better than you are.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam. That's Veritas. And this episode is sponsored by HelloFresh, showing off some of their seasonal recipes. We talk about it all the time. You know we love HelloFresh. It's the fall, and Christmas time is among us, and they have all sorts of recipes. The one-pot Thai coconut curry turkey soup, little twist on some Thanksgiving flavors. I've actually had the sweet corn and green pepper chowder. They've got a lot of soups for the fall time. They're delicious. And HelloFresh offers tons of other seasonal options for you to choose from every week. You can use 50 podcasts for 50% off plus free shipping at HelloFresh.com/50podcast. That's HelloFresh.com/50podcast and code 50podcast for 50% off plus free shipping. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. What's up, B?
Sorry, you froze on my end, so I was just waiting.
Oh, did I? Why is it doing that?
I don't know.
Porque why?
Yeah, porque why indeed.
Porque why? SMH my head.
Yeah, 50 off the frame.
50% off your bit rate. It's so crazy.
50% of the bandwidth. 50% of the time.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, just my heart rate's still up. Half because of I had to get on my goddamn hands and knees and plug in some USB.
Which is quite
cables,
the exercise.
Which, I mean, it's more than I've done. That's a lie. I actually have been exercising, but I just started yesterday or the day before playing hardcore Diablo.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Which is Monka.
Because that's just a one and done, right? If your character dies, it's over.
Yeah, and like it's just so easy to get one shot. It's just so easy to die. And I've playing softcore while streaming. I never like care. I don't pay attention.
Yeah, you're never like 100% fully paying attention.
No, I AFK. I walk away. Like I don't give a fuck. Like you lose 10% durability on your items.
Yeah,
and which you can just pay a little bit of gold to repair. It's like it's like completely pointless. But now it's like every enemy I see that dies, that like there's like a thing on the ground that they explode after a couple seconds. That'll like. I've seen too many of the like Asmongold reacts to hardcore death montages.
Yeah.
Where you just see the people, it's always the fucking exploding enemies. It's always all that. So every time I see one, I freak the fuck out.
Yep. That makes sense.
But it's kind of interesting playing this way because there's like this massive map with all these like waypoints and these statues that you get that like give you bonus points when you unlock them, and like there's a big fog of war on the map. That's all maintained between seasons and stuff, between characters and whatever, except it's separate for hardcore. So I'm starting from scratch.
Okay. That makes sense.
I'm like actually going through and being like super methodical. I'm like going everywhere. I'm not really like fast traveling much to places. I'm killing everything along the way because you can get away with being 20 levels under leveled normally.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I'm like level 51 against level 50 enemies, shitting my pants. Like you don't want to be under leveled
because you can't like level check yourself. You can't be like, do you think I could take this on? And you go in and try it, and you almost do it, and you're like, I need to level up a little bit. You can't do that check. You have to be like, I gotta know.
Yeah. So like what you saw me do just now, there's in between like the tiers, there's like 4 tiers where it's all the same game. It's just you get more XP, more gold. The enemies are harder.
Yeah.
So I started on World Tier 1, just like normally I would start on World Tier 2 and just like level up through there, but just like start as easy as possible.
Yeah.
And then when you get to level 50, that gives you access to a capstone dungeon where once you beat that lets you go from Tier 2 to 3.
Okay.
So I was in Tier 1 until I got to level 50, And then I went to tier 2 capstone dungeon, which is like a big jump up, and that's what you saw me doing.
Yeah.
Where if it's like, I didn't know if I was going to go in there, hit the first guy, and normally, 1 or 2 hits and everything's dead. I could have hit the first guy and saw like, and been like, oh no. And I just would have fucked off, but I managed to do it. It actually wasn't too bad. So now I don't know if I'm going to be in World Tier 3 though. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, I agree.
But you like the first few things that like items that drop will be 1,000 times better than what I have now. So it's
yeah,
really
like
tempting.
Immediately. Yeah,
it's really tempting. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm level 50. We're halfway to 100. I've never done hardcore, so
that's
far
crazy.
So far so good. I've only had like 2 close-ish calls where I was like out of potions and then like running away from enemies. And there's 2 safeguards. There's something called a scroll of escape, which you have to bind.
Oh, okay.
And I've got it bound to my fucking 0 key on my numpad. Just like slap the fucking big 0 key. And that I actually haven't used it before. I'm hoping like normally if you hit to like the button to town teleport, it's like 1,000, 2, 1,000.
Gotcha.
And if you get hit, it cancels.
Oh.
So you can't just run and then hit it. But I think the scroll of escape is
quicker,
hopefully instantaneous. But then there's also a like potion, I don't know what it's called, but there's a potion that lasts 45 minutes that makes it so that when you were to take lethal damage, you're immune for 2 seconds. So it's like hit the potion, oh god, scroll of escape kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I've never done it, so I don't have the muscle memory. I don't know if I'm prepared. It's really easy to fumble.
2 seconds ain't a lot of time.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's what I've been doing.
Damn.
It's made it more exciting.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool.
I played Tarkov today though.
Of course. Dude, immediately people are like, hey, yo, Veritas on Tarkov. It's like news, dude. People always tell me, I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
It was just boring. Like,
I feel that.
It was fine.
Listen, I'll take that as progress, right? Mine is better than like, I want to yeet my computer out the window,
Yeah, no, I mean, I killed I did a scav raid where I just went, looted a bunch of dead PMCs in dorms. And then left.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. I got like an AK-74. I got like a Gen 4 high mobility. Damn. Yeah. And like a fucking VPO.
Yeah.
And some other kind of garbage stuff, but got a couple of things to armor. Then I did a couple PMC raids. The first one I spawned over by, on customs, there's the crossing, the river crossing that's like all the containers. It's all like the ghetto scaffolding shit. So I was on the opposite side, like the big red side.
Yeah.
Spawned in, kind of went down the hill, crossed halfway through. I'm getting fucking blasted by a PMC who I think had a pistol, and he was like lighting me up. Like I was pretty low, and I just went full auto because he caught me off guard. So it's kind of like you gotta,
Yep, spray and pray.
But he ended up. I managed to cross before he killed me. Repositioned a little bit. He moved, and I just just gunned him down, killed him, and then I was like healing. And then another PMC came over, and I was kind of just like waiting. He like looted all the shit. I couldn't really get. There was like a tree, and I couldn't get a clear angle. And he just pieced out with all the gear, and I'm pretty sure that's who killed me later on, where I literally went over, checked the body later. The body had been looted, and then I went all the way over to dorms. I could tell someone was in dorms. I went up to the second floor. I was like, I think the guy's down the hallway. Chucked a grenade. I heard the movement. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wide peek, and I went to fucking swing, and it was just like insta die, just insta dead 856A1 to the face. So I was like, oh, and all I had was just a what's the one of the red dots? Not the P-Lad. Is that a red
like
dot?
the Burris or the Delta?
The one
point?
that has like the circle cross. If you on like
the
fourth
MRS.
Heading. Oh no! Wait, it wasn't the MRS. It was the other one. I don't know. Whatever. I had one of those dots, so it was kind of like
not the great ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was in the far hallway, the far room, just shoulder peeked out. So like I peeked, I saw him, and then I was just dead.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I just played customs.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, go streets. I'm like, I don't feel like playing.
Yeah, I don't know streets. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know it enough. Like,
yeah.
I know it perfectly fine. I played streets a ton.
Yeah.
I just to get back in, I wanted to play something familiar. Yeah. Because I'm like, I forget half my keybinds still. You know what I mean?
And
like,
streets was sweaty today.
Yeah.
Sweaty. So
now I actually experienced a problem where for some reason the game didn't recognize my monitor. It only recognized my capture card. So when I was full screen, it was no signal on my monitor, but I could see in OBS my game. So I had to go borderless windowed.
Yeah.
And even then, when you click on like monitor, it was just like Elgato 1440. My monitor was not an option, so I can't play Tarkov full screen, I guess, anymore.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird. I play in window borderless, so that's how many raids did you end up doing before you hopped off?
I think I did 2 scav raids and maybe 2. I think 3 PM, maybe 2 PMC raids.
Yeah,
and it's just like nothing. Like I killed that one PMC, and then everything else was just kind of like walk around for 15 minutes and then die, and it's kind of like,
yeah,
I don't think I feel like loading up, like gearing up again.
I feel that. Yeah. Well, it's definitely been a week. It's definitely been
a week. It has been the week of all time.
It has been one of the weeks of all time. That is for sure. We had the streamer challenge, which was going on all week last week. We talked about that last week. We talked about the rules and the fact that it was just literally 9 days of killing scavs. Yikes. And we talked about it a little bit on the PP, Patreon episode, or patreon.com/thepodcastpod if you want some extra episodes. But we can do maybe a little TLDR of the situation. There was some drama that came up halfway to like 75% of the way through the tournament with one of the contestants that was very highly ranked that people were a little suspicious of. Turns out Veritas has a history with this gentleman and spent some time reviewing the clips. What's the TLDR or like an update?
Yeah, so both. So I went into a lot more detail as to like the situation from a year ago on the PP, the Patreon episode. But just to give a summary, a year ago I was on Interchange and I had one of those extremely sus raids where every 14 fucking seconds I just had all my limbs blasted.
Yeah. And
I just kept getting blasted, and I would reposition, never see anyone, never hear anyone, and I would just keep getting blasted. Wasn't dying. Like the person couldn't kill me. They were just owning me. So I felt completely and utterly dominated, which is like, it just felt super sus.
Yeah.
Super, super sus. And I don't remember exactly what the details were, if I died to this guy or not. I think I did. No, I the more and more I think about it, the more I feel like someone in his chat
was like,
identified. Yeah, they were like, oh, you're in the same raid as Suddenly Toast, which is, I believe his name.
Yeah.
And, he was like 3 viewers or something. Like I remember going back and looking, and like his title at the time, was like 200 followers or like, it was, he was a newer streamer. And I'm not shaming. I'm just trying to give context as to like, it would be so weird when you're like 900 streamers down the list.
Yeah.
That someone would be watching that streamer and also would be watching me enough to know
you're in the same raid.
To come into my chat and say, you're in the same raid. So that already made me sus, right? Yeah. When someone's like, you're in the same raid as someone else, I'm like, and then when I look and I see that they're, like a smaller streamer, just statistically, whatever, seemed unlikely. Anyway, and after watching the VOD at the time that day, because I'm like, yo, that was the most sus shit ever. Every moment was mega sus. The way he was
like
playing,
even watching his perspective.
watching his perspective, it was even more sus. Like even more sus, where everything he was doing, it was as if he had information. He always end up going to a very specific angle that was like, you might go on interchange. You might go in like, to a particular spot and hold the bottom of the escalators.
Yeah.
Over by Tech Light. But exactly where he was holding and like where he would like a very weird tight angle from behind a shelf would zoom in, and he'd zoom in as someone was walking in front, and it was like the timing, that angle,
and like, of course that might happen, but it happening again and again every time in a single raid. It's like, we've all had that clip, but have we had 8 of those clips in a raid? Maybe not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and when you watched my pathing and his pathing, I never heard him once. He heard me a couple of times, but there were times it was like cat and mouse, where everywhere I went all throughout the map, he was perfectly like stalking me to the point where basically, and then going through all of his other VODs and watching his gameplay, I was like 98% sure that he had ESP. He had wall hacks. I was just, extremely sus. Now, of course, me talking about all of this on stream, pulling up the VOD, everybody's that's effectively like calling someone out.
Yeah.
I didn't like go and tweet anything or whatever, but people from my chat went into his stream. People from his stream came into my chat. Basically, he ended up coming in while I was doing that and said, like, can't wait till you figure out that I'm legit.
Yeah.
I'll wait for my apology, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, bud, whatever. After talking with Desmond, Desmond looked at his video gameplay a bunch. Desmond's, better than me, and me and Desmond have gone back and forth a ton about suspected cheaters before in private. And we've almost always been on the same page. Everything I think is sus, he thinks is sus. He tends to agree with me on most things. There was some reasonable doubt, some explanation that he had given that made me think maybe I could be wrong.
Yeah, that there's a universe where you could be wrong about it.
Yeah. But again, at the time, I went from like 98% sure to 97% sure.
Yeah.
But just having someone skilled and sane, saying, bro, I think you're wrong on this.
Yeah.
That was enough for me to say I would rather err on the side of caution, not wanting to falsely, accuse somebody who's an up and coming streamer, whatever. So I went into his chat later on after he had left, and I said, bro, I want to talk after stream and I want to apologize.
Yeah.
Well, he ended his stream early, came into my stream not long after that, and basically I explained everything and apologized. I'm like, my bad, dude. I was probably wrong, whatever. Even though in my heart of hearts,
you were still sus, but it was
I was extremely sus, but
there's enough reasonable doubt. Let's just squash this and move on.
Yeah, which I thought was the responsible, reasonable thing to do. And and he was like, yeah, no, I totally get it, dude. There's so many cheaters right now. All my raids are sus. I get it. Like, I appreciate it. Whatever. Cool. Fast forward a year later, I get on stream randomly, and a bunch of people come in and say, oh, bro, drama incoming. Yeah. And all of a sudden, my viewership like quadruples, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like clearly something going on. And apparently, he was in the tournament. He was like second place in the tournament. And like a million people were all just super sus. Everybody was convinced he was cheating. And part of why I got brought into it was one of the Reddit posts that someone posted. It was the clip of me a year ago being like, what the fuck is this sketchy ass sus? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I open up Discord and I got a million DMs, and one of the DMs, I'll fucking read it, was Desmond. Bro, I know you don't care about Tarkov. Didn't you call out this Suddenly Toast guy for cheating a long time ago? He's playing in the streamer challenge. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to finish reading all the details, but I'm like, yeah, he was the one you were telling me was legit. LOL. And he's like, yeah.
I was wrong.
So,
so
well, no, I think Desmond still stands by like
well,
he's
yeah.
like, bro, which is fine.
It stands by the fact that with the information given at that time, there was enough reasonable doubt not to make a big stink about it, which is understandable, right? Because we don't want to do that. But
yeah, so
ultimately,
fair.
you spent some time reviewing the clips. What I think is funny is that like some of the clips that people were like, this suddenly toast guy's definitely cheating, look at this clip, ended up being like not at all suspicious. It was like, well, it's probably this. But there was still plenty of sufficient evidence to be like, yeah, this guy is suspicious. But it was just funny that when that, and here's the thing, here's why you did that. This is why you erred on the side of caution a year ago for exactly that. When the cat's out of the bag like that, and when enough of the community is like, this guy's sus, that starts to happen where explainable things get just folded into like, this guy's cheating because he killed Landmark. This guy's cheating. And it's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like let's be what you said in the podcast, the Patreon episode, let's be right for the right reasons, right? So you spent some time, you were like, these clips are fine, but these clips are suspicious. Let's be right for the right reasons. Let's do it. And ultimately, you had kind of came to the conclusion that, like, yeah, you think he's sus. Like, back on that, like, for sure, I'm pretty sure he's sus. Right? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah. So, you know, I was basically like, I think he's sus. I still think he's sus, but I'm going to let him go. I'm just going to fucking move on. And, you know, it'll work its way out.
Yeah.
It'll work itself out. Well, so then again, fast forward a year. And then while this is all happening, and I'm like, okay, I'm pulling up some of the clips. Everybody's like, watch this. And I want to say like 7 out of 10 of the clips were pretty fucking mega sus. 3 or 4 out of 10 were like explainable. This would happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, this is a waste of my time. This is making the case against him look worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then all the while that's going on, a bunch of people then jumped in and were like, yo, I guess he like DM'd, I don't know, like Toothy or somebody else, and he's also saying on stream how I called him out a year ago for cheating, and he's still waiting for an apology.
He's still waiting on Veritas's apology.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, like it's for me to have gone through the trouble that I did to make a public, open apology to the guy, even when it was against my own judgment, because I thought it was the responsible right thing to do. I fucking remembered that. And I went and like I got all the receipts. I posted it on Twitter if you want to see. I was about to say,
and you posted the chat logs of you in his chat saying, I would like to apologize later. And then him coming into your chat, all huff and puff, ready to rumble, and then leaving your chat being like, it's all good, GG's, I understand, thanks for the chat, see ya. So like, we don't have a video of Veritas saying, I am sorry, but like...
because it was a year ago and the VODs don't exist.
But we have enough evidence to support the theory that you did. Yeah.
So then there's that, and then let's see. And then at the time, like Trey and a bunch of other people were all talking about how they got pictures of his PC and
the DMA device,
the DMA device stuff, which I'm not. I don't know. I'm still not. I don't know where I am with that. Like all the back and forth I saw with that, and there's so much noise, and I don't know where the signal to noise is because, like, to me, nobody has done what should be easy to do, at least it seems to me, is this is the model DMA card he has.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of it. Here's a picture of his PC. Look, this is the thing he has.
Yeah,
definitively. It's a bunch of like, there are these weird cards. He had this thing that he ended up pointing as to like an Ethernet card, like a network card. And it's like, I don't even know, like, was that in his PC? Is that what was there? Could it look like anything else? I don't know. It's just a mess. And if it exists, whoever you are that has it, you're doing a dog shit job at making the case obvious and clear. It should be fucking clear. Photoshop the picture with A next to B, and then next to C, which is the fucking Amazon, or link. eBay or whatever. Like it just shouldn't be that difficult. So as far as I can tell, there's no definitive proof that he has been proven to have a DMA card hardware installed on his PC. Okay. But as of yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, he had a response stream.
Yeah. I think it was today, maybe. I don't know.
It wasn't today. It was yesterday or the day before, because I responded. I reacted to it yesterday.
Okay.
It was like 15 minutes long. It was at the beginning of like a half hour, 35-minute stream or something. And one of the first things he said was he apologized to me for his like assessment of me, his reaction to me. Like, I don't know. It was, like he probably thought I was a piece of shit or whatever. And it's like, okay, I'll take it, I guess. He didn't mention the whole apology thing that he either lied about or forgot about. Whatever, which is fine. Like, I'm over that part of it. But he also thanked me for debunking a bunch of the brain dead takes. Where people were like, how could he have seen this guy?
Did he try to make you be like, thanks for Veritas for having my back?
It was weird. He said for like debunking some of the evidence. So like it was like a half.
That's
like
weird.
Name drop, thanks, but I don't know. I'll again give him the benefit of the doubt and take it as a genuine thanks for doing what I was doing, because I was debunking the brain dead arguments that he was cheating, while at the same time pointing out the blatantly obvious
reasons why he was cheating. Yeah.
Now, one of the like, and then he went through, showed a bunch of pictures of some things, talked about a bunch of stuff. It was an entire waste of time and nothing burger, where he said a bunch of shit without saying anything. And then was like, so that's my case, that's my response. It's like, oh, okay. So I mean, there's like nothing. And there's only a couple more things worth mentioning. One is one of the proposals was to have Logical Solutions was going to like go connect to his PC and like, run through everything. Now he said, he's like, give me, 45 minutes or whatever, so I can like scrub the personal identifiable information, like let me log out of my shit, and which is like, it's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that whole thing, all of this stuff, whether he was going to go and delete all of his cheats, or whether he really wanted to delete, like license.jpg from his documents folder so he doesn't get doxxed.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's meaningless. It's pointless, because if Logical can, first of all, I wouldn't want, Logical's cool and everything, I wouldn't let him connect to my PC. I wouldn't let fucking anybody connect to my PC. There's no goddamn way. I don't trust anybody like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I wouldn't trust anybody, especially a content creator, because these motherfuckers could plant evidence. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
It's just I wouldn't do it, especially if I was innocent. If I was guilty, I definitely wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But if I was innocent, I have nothing to gain from it, because even if they find nothing, you just scrubbed your PC.
Yeah.
So it's like that you get nothing from it.
Yeah.
At all. It's a lose-lose.
Yep.
Now, one of the things he did, there's a content creator that I'm not really familiar with called Very Bad Scav, who had a YouTube video where they had like gone in. I don't know the details. I kind of just like went to the end of the video and started watching because someone linked me with a timestamp.
Yeah.
And he was basically like interviewing him. He had him like screen sharing his whole shit. Did you hear about this? So this is, oh God, this is the thing that like, it just hurts my brain. I hate humanity. So he pulled up his device manager.
Toast?
Yes.
Okay. And was screen sharing with Very Bad Scav.
Yep. And this is all recorded on the video. And actually, you know what? I can probably pull it up here and show you, because it's worth looking at. So apparently, Very Bad Scav. So apparently, with AMD cards, There is I don't know if it's all or most, but there's basically like something called the direct memory access like device driver or something.
Oh, okay.
And when he pulled it up, just let me show you. It was, I think, the hour and 11-minute one.
Direct memory access controller.
So yeah, he's going through kind of trying to defend himself. He shows like the network card, this whole fucking thing, whatever. Okay, so he pulls up device manager. And when he pulls up the device manager, let me see real quick. Oh, nope, didn't mean to do that. So there was a couple of questions about like he's got this whole like game aim view Discord. Like these are all OBS windows.
Okay.
Now I had a gut reaction as soon as I saw it. Everybody was sus about it, but when he showed it, it made sense, right? Like how like Ghost Freak and a few other people, they have like the zoom in crosshair on the center of the screen, that they put that little window elsewhere, right? So that he shows that, and that all checks out and everything. But when he's going through, here it is. So he's going through and you see direct memory access controller, which, again, let me preface this with AMD, most of the people that were in chat that have AMD cards or devices, they have this. So this is normal.
Yeah.
This isn't but he switched scenes. Someone mentioned something and he very quickly switches scenes. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. He switches scenes, goes, yeah, I don't know, and then kind of panic clicks through a bunch of screens, going back and forth through a bunch of the transitions, and then they're like, wait a minute, he calls it out. He's like, people in chat noticed that there was a thing, and when he goes back, it's gone.
Oh.
So here's what I think happened. I think, and again, I can't know this, but my interpretation of what happened was, imagine he was cheating. Imagine he was using a DMA device. Imagine he didn't know or understand what, so he saw it and was like, fuck, this proves I cheated.
Yeah. So he uninstalled it.
I'm going to delete it without realizing that it actually wasn't sus.
And the deletion of it is almost suspicious because it seems like in a panic. If I found that on my computer and I was innocent, I'd be like, yo, what is this? Somebody would do a Google search and be like, oh, well, that's a part of your CPU or whatever. And I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, unless you had someone connect to your PC, right? Like that would be, imagine if someone connected to your PC and then you found that.
Yeah.
I would suddenly go into really conspiracy mode.
Yeah.
But assuming nobody connected to my PC and I had no reason to be suspicious of that, if I found that and I didn't know what it was, I would instantly say, okay, well, I'm going to wait for you guys to figure out why it's legit. Because I know it's legit.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not cheating. So I would wait for, and I know, and this is the way you have to deal with it. Everybody's going to be like, oh, caught in 4K. And you just need to sit through that and you need to eat it.
Yeah.
Because that it'll be vindicated if you're legit. Right? That's the way I would approach it. Now, granted, I've had a lot of time to think about how I might have reacted and all the cheaters I've talked to. And I try to be honest and think, and with that in mind, there's a world in which he actually is innocent.
Yeah.
And just thought, oh God, panicked, thinking this is going to make me look bad. I don't know what it is. Now, I think that's much less likely than he was guilty, didn't realize it wasn't bad, and then still deleted it.
Deleted it, yeah. Bro, I am not built for this stuff. I hate this. I feel like it's so much work and it doesn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? We're ultimately right back to the information we have makes him seem super sus and that he's cheating. But it's just, I don't know what people expect. People want that moment. You know what I mean? People want that moment where those crazy Reddit stories where like I zoomed in and I flipped the image and I mirrored it, and here's the serial number of the DMA device. Like, we got you, we caught you red-handed. But those moments just don't happen, and there's so much brain power that goes into like nitpicking, and it's like I think that he's sus. I think he's cheating, but it just seems like it's just so much, I don't know, for nothing. So I'm whatever.
People need to pick their battles.
I'm glad other people are doing it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, this just goes to show you why you can't jump on every little thing. You see direct memory access. I guarantee you somebody X'd out and instantly was writing on fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh shit. And it's like, no, let's pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Let's make sure, that this is like, but people, they can't be measured with these kinds of investigations. They instantly want to, burn the witch, and
burn the witch.
And in all honesty, if you're wrong, you're the asshole.
Yeah.
Which is why I apologized initially. Now, it turns out I didn't need to apologize initially, or at least now, once again, even though fast forward, he was banned and removed from the streamer challenge, but I still reserve that there's a percentage chance. It's non-zero. It's not large.
Yeah.
But that there's a non-zero chance that he was cheating. And the interesting thing is that
he wasn't
him being
cheating?
banned.
Or that he was.
That he wasn't. Sorry.
Okay.
Him being banned by BSG doesn't move the needle at all for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it doesn't move the needle because it was already such a small percentage. Like, if you were 50-50 on him and BSG banned him, you'd be like, okay, now I'm 99% sure he wasn't cheating.
No.
But now, you were already 99% sure he was cheating. That's how I would view it.
Well, but here's the thing. I don't know that, like, BSG banning them doesn't make me feel more confident that anybody's cheating. They're never, unless they were to tell us why. Yeah. If they were to say we scanned his PC and we found a process running, then I would be 99.9999999% sure, with the only percentage remaining being they're lying.
Yeah.
But when it really just comes down to the fact that public pressure said, BSG, look at this guy.
Yeah.
And we cannot know if they scanned his PC and found anything running, or, if he was running a DMA, then they probably didn't find anything.
Yeah.
So for all I know, it was based on clips and based on stats. And once again, I trust my personal analysis and judgment over suspicious gameplay over anybody at BSG looking at stats behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Unless they're looking at processes running on his PC.
Yeah.
And I don't trust my own judgment enough to want to flip the switch based purely on gameplay, because I wouldn't want to falsely ban somebody because of some short-sighted whatever.
Yeah.
So him being banned by BSG doesn't really actually, it takes me from 98% to 98.4%.
Yeah. Sure that he's cheating.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less about the whole thing. I just, like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I mean, not about your opinion of it, but just about, like, I just have so little brain. So many people, the amount of people that have asked me about, like, the suddenly toast situation, it's like, dude, I have no available brain power to, like, sift through the vitriol of Twitter. And you know what I mean? Like, I saw some clips. Thank Christ I'm not in the position to make the decision. BSG removed him from the tourney. So did they actually ban his account? That I
believe, yeah. His tournament account and main account were both banned.
Okay. They banned his account. They took him out of the tournament. That's good enough for me. I'm not saying that like I agree with what you're saying. They've banned people and unbanned them before. You know what I mean?
And it was a manual ban.
The irony there being Vibin was banned last year and now is getting a streamer item because he won the streamer challenge.
Now, what was he banned for last
He
year?
was
For a
banned for
manual ban?
the like
RMT Apocalypse?
I took viewer kit. Yeah, that whole cluster of a situation. I just think it's funny. Anyways, so like, I don't know. I just don't, I don't know. I just don't care. I'm not saying I don't care that people are cheating. I'm glad that people that I trust, like you and like Trey, looked into it. I'm glad that if BSG thinks he was cheating, that they banned him. I'm glad. If he's cheating, I hope he steps on a Lego, his computer explodes, and he can never buy a new one. You know what I mean? Screw him if he's cheating. But I just like, thank God, that's all I have to say. You know what I mean? Like, I just, it's whatever. He got out of the tournament, which is great. And real people got to win. So, I don't know. But it was an interesting situation because you kind of got roped in because of what had happened last year.
You know what the sad part is of this, though? Any fucking random anonymous person, it's not like he had a face cam, any of this stuff. Any random anonymous person could come out of nowhere, cheat in an event for 2 or 3 days. They'd make a bunch of money from ad revenue and from subs, and people hate watching and all that other bullshit, and then they could get banned and then go back into their crawl back into the swamp hole that they came from. And I'm sitting here. I was sitting here on fucking Diablo with 85 viewers, and Mans was sitting with 600 or 700 viewers.
Yeah.
It's like,
yep. It sucks. It really does.
Hate watching.
It's just insane to stream yourself cheating, bro, and compete. It's just like, what? That's insane. Now, the only other thing, like, from the streamer challenge that I felt brutal about was like, so I was watching on the last day. I kind of didn't. I didn't really consume a lot of content of it because I just didn't feel like watching people farm scabs all day. But I was watching Trey on Tuesday, which I think, or no, Monday. I don't know, Tuesday night, Monday night, whatever. I was watching Trey the last day. It was the last day. It was the last few hours. He was in 4th place. They switched it to the first top 3 get streamer items. He was in 4th place. And, dude, it was brutal. It was brutal. For like 4 straight hours, it was every single person in the world was stream sniping him. It was just like, there were enough people on every server trying to stream snipe him that it didn't matter. Like, he was server hopping every single day. It just didn't matter. He's a big. How did we know they were stream sniping? I watched for a little bit, and even I was like, that's super suck. I mean, just like, he would make no noise, and they would just like run up. Some of them would just straight up VoIP at him. Hey, Trey. Like, I mean, it was not. Yeah, it was like, of course, maybe if there were 30 clips where we were all like, that guy was stream sniping, maybe 3 or 4 of them, right, we got it wrong. But it wasn't like, let's take a second here. It was pretty gross.
Yeah.
And it was the perfect. I'm sure everybody got stream sniped, right? I'm sure Vibin did. I'm sure I forget what his name is, Tomati or something, that did it as well. The guy that came in 1st place, but it was the perfect concoction of like, he's a big streamer, and he was 4th, close to 3rd. So, like, I'm not at all saying that the top 3 didn't deserve it. The guy in 3rd obviously crushed the tournament and probably had to deal with stream snipers of his own. So I'm not here to say, like, Trey deserves the item, man. Screw you. All I'm saying is that when I was watching Trey, it was just brutal that it was so bad, that it was happening so brutal when he was so close to 3rd. You know what I mean? It wasn't that anybody that got it doesn't deserve it. It was just like you watch a tournament because you want those moments, right? Like, you want the like upset, you want the like what's gonna happen, you want it to be tight. Like, as a viewer, you want the drama, and the fact that like it was just like so yucky at the end, I just felt bad. Once again, like, huge, and even Trey was like, literally all 3 of the guys that won deserve it. You know what I mean? Trey wasn't like, I was robbed. He was super chill about it. Obviously, he was frustrated, but it was just like, it was just gross, man.
Now what I wonder is, during any of that period of time, was that when, because I know Trey was doing like fucking analysis like on stream. I wonder how much time did he waste his time fucking.
I don't know.
Did he waste any of it in the middle of the 8 hours or whatever?
I think he had a few days earlier on in the challenge where he like wasn't sure if he was gonna do it, and so I don't know if he like did all 8 hours every day, but he was close to third. He was close to third, but yeah, ultimately, the streamer challenge ended. Top 3 get streamer items. It was, it definitely was what it was. We talked last week about how I felt like, could have potentially been a more engaging thing, but it ended. They got some streamer items. It was dramatic, to say the least. The entire thing, and it's over. Thank Christ.
Yeah, well, the top 12 were all cheating, and I have proof.
Yep.
I didn't even compete. I'm coming out with an expose.
Cheating.
If you want, subscribe to my Patreon, personal Patreon.
Yeah.
It's tier 3 sub on Twitch. Subscribe to my Patreon. Don't worry, video will be coming out soon.
He's going to expose everyone.
With proof, everyone exposed.
He's going to expose everyone.
Yeah, Jesse's feet pics are also a part of that.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
I'm exposing everything.
You're getting feet doxed.
Oh, God. Well, yeah. So let's move on from that, because the streamer challenge just sucked. That whole thing was just oof. Now, they did a Tarkov TV Live dev podcast on Tuesday, the final day of the challenge. And I'm sure, have you seen any videos? Have anybody talked? I'm sure people have been like,
a million people have come in, and I've said, I'll wait for the podcast. I'll wait for Jesse to. I was driving to my. Wait, when was this? I'm trying to remember. I couldn't. Right. Okay. This was when I was gone. I was taking care of stuff with my grandmother. Yeah, I was gone that day. Otherwise, I was going to watch.
Oh, the cast? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we got quite a few things going on. So, we'll just kind of, I guess, work through chronologically what they talked about. Obviously, they were like, we're working on Arena and we're working on the big patch that's coming up. They talked about how some of the technical patches they've been doing have been like working on the matchmaker. So they were supposed to add a new matchmaker that was supposed to speed up like matching times and just be more efficient with matching people in. That was supposed to come between the August wipe and the December wipe. We haven't heard anything about that. And then he kind of randomly was like, it's actually already implemented in some regions. Like they're rolling it out slowly. I don't know. Nobody's ever really noticed it, I don't think. So, but that was the last we heard about that. He talked a little bit about like they're gonna have a new launcher. Okay, here's where an interesting thing is. He was like, update on Unity. You know how they were supposed to move to Unity 2021? And that was supposed to happen in like the spring. And then it was going to be like a mid-wipe patch in the spring. And then they said they were going to do it in the summer. The very first roadmap we ever got from them, ever, was this year. It was early. And they were like, we're going to do the Unity update, and then we're going to wipe in the summer. And then we never got the Unity update. And then they said they were going to add the Unity update with the wipe in August.
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't get it then. And in the updated roadmap, they said that we're going to get the Unity update between the August wipe and the December wipe. And we haven't got it. And what they've kept saying each time that they've kind of mentioned this was, it's pretty much done. We're super close. We just ran into a little issue, and we don't want to delay these other features, so we're going to push out this patch while we work it out. Well, on this podcast, he said, we're skipping Unity 21, and we're going to update the game to Unity 2023 in next year in 2024. So that we never got to 21, and all the work they put into 21, I guess, is not coming to fruition. And then they're going to skip Unity 2022, and Tarkov is going to get migrated to Unity 2023 next year.
Okay.
Interesting. I just feel like there's more under the covers there, you know?
I mean, yeah.
Like,
I have no fucking idea.
I feel like there's more to that than, like, because he didn't really say why, and they were so close. Or at least that's what they said. They were so close to, like, bringing out Unity 2021. I don't know. Obviously, so these things, talking about these things are always hard because, like, a question I get super commonly is like, well, what is Unity 2021 gonna fix? And I was like, it's not like a bug fix for a problem, right? Like, it's hard to explain to people what an engine upgrade is, especially since I barely know myself. Oh, hell yeah, you got some pizza?
I've been distracted. My wife's like, I got you pizza. It's like my doorbell rang, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't go get the door.
Wow. W wife. W Mrs. Veritas, by the way.
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know. So it was just interesting, and I felt like there was a little bit more under the covers there. You know what I mean? But we're not getting Unity 21 or 22. We're getting Unity 23, and there's no date for it, just next year. And nobody understands what Unity 2021 would have done. Nobody understands what Unity 2023 is going to do. They're not telling us what it's going to do. It's complicated, and everybody wants to know, and everybody keeps asking, and I don't know how to answer the question because I don't know what it's going to do, and it's coming next year. Unity. Agreed. Unity.
Fresh guns, freshness. Unity, freshness.
Yep.
Unity crashes.
Still, to this day. To this day. Okay. We're getting a new map next wipe called Ground Zero. Yeah? You want to show
what?
You want to show the video? I'll send it to you.
You fucking what, mate?
You what, mate?
Dude, there's like 9 other maps that have been like on the map screen that we'll never get.
Correct. That we will never get. Here's the thing. We knew this was coming, though. They've been saying for years that eventually they were going to do like a tutorial zone, like a tutorial map. This is that map. Only people under a certain level can queue on this map. They're not sure what that level is. They're not sure if they want to do 15 or 20. I can tell that they're conflicted. They want it to be 20 because they don't want people to basically level out of this map in like 2 days. But they also know that unlocking the flea market would make it weird for like some people in there having the flea market and some people won't. So they're like trying to think of what to do between 15 and 20. But they're going to decide on a level, and you'll only be able to queue into this map if you're under that level. This map is inside of Streets of Tarkov, like geographically, which is why it looks the same. It's a small map. They said the loot isn't going to be like crazy, but it's going to be, in my opinion, I think it's great. I think this is an awesome way, especially so many people ask me like, it's late wipe. Should I hop in or should I wait until the next wipe? You know what I mean? So like, I think it's cool that there's going to be a place basically where you can hop in and not get just like schwacked by, you know, me, right? By like level 61 Giga Chad with a mutant on your very first day. And it looks sick because it looks like more of Streets. It looks like a Streets expansion.
So is this the only map you can go to?
No.
Or is this okay?
Yeah. It's just you can't go to this map when you're above. I'm sure because like we also know that originally they said that like when we have the storyline quests, you're going to start on Streets and you're going to have to unlock access to each of the maps, right? When the storyline quests come out, we're all going to start on this map. We're going to have to do like 5 quests on this map. Then we'll unlock Streets or customs and it'll go from there. So like this will be where we start eventually, but
I have a terrible feeling that it's going to be somehow, for some reason, some way, this is going to be 60% new players and 30-40% cheater, smurf, like somehow. it's just going to be I don't
they
think
won't need to.
I don't think the new player experience is going to be different on this map. I hope I'm wrong, but I have a weird suspicion that it's like
I genuinely do. I genuinely do think it'll be better because of the way the game is. Your account is important enough to you to not want to smurf it. People are too cheap to buy additional accounts. Cheating, that might be a thing. And there's not a whole lot of value in doing it because you won't be fighting people with high tier gear, and you won't be able to get bitcoins or high tier loot from it. So I think
there are some. I feel like this is going to be okay. So look at it this way: some cheaters cheat solely for like some sort of financial gain, right?
Yeah.
I think a decent amount of cheaters cheat because they like the power and the bullying and they like to fuck with people. And this is the ultimate. It's the ultimate.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like, if you think about the entire player base, like what percentage of the player base is under level 20? I wonder, is that half? Is it 10%? Is it 80%?
Yeah. I think it's a decent chunk. I understand what you're saying. I just disagree on the numbers, and ultimately neither of us know, right? We're just going to have to wait and see. And the other reason why I don't think people will smurf is that you won't have to. Nikita was like, only PMCs 15 and under, or whatever level they decide, will be able to go here. But anyone will be able to player scav there anytime.
Oh, so it's just going to be like every other map. With just worse loot.
So like that, on the other hand, nobody's going to want to reset their account so that they can smurf on that map. But people absolutely will player scav on that map because why not? Why not go smack around some level 3s? Yeah. I was like, I don't know about that. I kind of hope they change it.
It needs to be like player scav gated at like level 3 player scav.
I agree.
In my opinion.
I agree.
Because that's like what? That's like 3 scav raids?
Yeah, 3 to 10 scav raids, depending on how they go. I agree. I really do.
And that would be, there's a lot less player scavs, and player scavs are arguably going to be the most difficult for new players to contend with because the new players are slow as fuck and they're scared. So that means they're the ones getting killed by the PMCs that were in and out that are now just doing laps.
Yeah.
You know? And they're going to get dominated by the player scavs, bro. Oh my God. I mean, I guess like my whole, I don't have a good feeling. It was less about like the specific reasons or the specific reasons or people for what they're going to be doing, and more that a map for new players.
Yeah. It's
not going to be a map for new players.
Yeah.
It's going to be a map for new players to get shit on, which is every map.
Yeah. I still think it's a good thing. I still think it'll be valuable. I think if they change the player scav rule, I really do think and hope it'll be a good map for new players. Because even 50% less toxic than any other map is still really toxic, but at least it's less toxic than other maps. But obviously the jury is still out there.
It should be no player scavs, a bunch of like level 1 bots, like the worst possible bots turned down, like lower than what they are anywhere else. And there's like two PMCs per raid.
Yeah.
It's effectively an offline raid.
Yeah.
With a small risk of running into a PMC and all you can walk away with are like shitty scav guns.
Yep. Dude, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Because that would effectively give you you get like free kit. You know how like the whole idea of like, do you always have one free kit that you can use? It's that, but you have to earn it.
In
a very easy way.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. Obviously the map design is great. I love Streets. It's basically a small Streets expansion that you can't access. It's going to be cool. But that is coming with the patch. It's called Ground Zero. They played, Nikita and Demirka played a few rounds of Arena on the newest build where they had like, we didn't have at TwitchCon, we didn't have the kill cam where when you died, it like showed you the guy, and that was working in this build. So they were showing that off where like Nikita would die and then it would show the perspective through the little like camera lens of the guy that killed him. So So that was kind of cool because that worked pretty well.
What I can't wait to see is if I'm streaming and I get killed by another streamer, I want to see 3 things: me dying, the kill cam, and the other streamer's perspective.
Yeah.
I bet you there'll be 3 different things.
Wait, what do you mean you dying?
I want to see, like, from my perspective, like right now when we compare one streamer and another streamer, it's like, oh, he was behind the wall, you never saw him.
Yeah.
I want to see the kill cam as like some extrapolation where it's in between, where like it's not going to be reflective, accurate of either person. It's going to be somewhere in the middle.
Oh, no, well, the kill cam was literally just like the POV of the guy that killed you, just with like a filter that makes it look like you're watching it on a VHS.
Well, so I guess the question is, how is that?
Yeah.
There's multiple ways they could have implemented it. I don't think they did it. I think they probably did it. So here's 2 ways. They could be recording all of your inputs.
Yeah.
Like they do in Valorant. You have all of your inputs and they basically redo the entire simulation server side.
Yeah.
And it could be like a replay of that, in which case that would be like a no latency.
Yeah.
That would be, so if that was the case, oh God, I mean, that would be different than what both people see, because what you end up with is like a snapshot of what's on the server, which is that person plus 50 milliseconds and that person plus 50 milliseconds played back.
Yeah.
And it could recreate it, right? Or it could literally be that it, like, the game is screen capping the visual of what's on screen, right? Like some iteration of that where almost like a replay buffer where it keeps the last X seconds in memory.
Yep.
It could be like that too. Now, if it's like that, well, then that should be identical to streamer number 2.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I bet you there's going to be some discrepancy. I hope. I hope I'm wrong, but I just have a feeling that it's going to be some third version.
Yeah, I see what
if you
you
go
mean.
to my Twitch, you come into my stream and you do !kill cam, you see my little visual that I put on Twitter, which is like a roundabout conversation. It's a fucking circular flow chart about the logic around the kill cam. That is what I suspect.
Yeah, well, there's like people who are like, we need a kill cam because that will be the end all be all for cheaters. It's like, and then there's just like, we need a kill cam because I think a kill cam would be cool. And in Arena, they're implementing a kill cam, and I just think it's cool. You'll be able to see what happened, or you can skip it and go to spectating your team. You know what I mean? And and it was working, and we saw it a few times because Nikita died quite a bit. So,
nice.
The whole, because it was all devs. It was Nikita, Demirka, and literally 8 other devs, and they were all like, it was just funny. You know what I mean? Like, cause it was just funny. It was funny to see them all play. Nikita's sounds he was making while playing were just S tier. He was just like while he was shooting at someone. It was so good.
I need to watch that.
It was so good. And then,
wait. So that was kind of a side thing. I remember watching. I don't remember the details, but wasn't Nikita playing at some point when we were in Vegas
at TwitchCon? Yeah, it was Sunday.
And I recall. Oh, they were winning.
Yeah. It
was like the BSG dev team against like someone else, and they were winning and they were doing quite well.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't remember any details. All I remember is my takeaway is, oh, Nikita's above average at the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is like kind of a fuck you to everybody who's like, they don't play their own game. Like, okay, well, Nikita's better than you are.
Yeah.
Now, that, again, that's not to say that he necessarily has all of the right perspectives on...
For sure. For sure.
But he ain't a slouch.
Yeah.
So respect where respect is due. Now, granted, I know he recently... It was probably like a year ago that we last talked where...
Yeah.
Around the time where like Tarkov going in the wrong direction, that video, where talking to Nikita, he had said, I recently jumped back into it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I agree with the game is not what I want it to be. It does not feel good right now.
Yeah.
So maybe he hadn't played for a while. Maybe took a few years off, which would be completely fucking reasonable.
Yeah.
And like honestly expected.
Yeah. Honestly.
But
but then he hopped back in the saddle.
But yeah, he's probably been playing ever since, just to shit on all the people that.
And he probably has been playing Arena quite a bit for the same reason, to like be like, okay, how is this feeling? You know what I mean? We're doing all the dev work, but like, how is this feeling? So then after they talked about Arena for a little bit, same information we got, which is early December. They're going to like, they want to release it early December. They're going to do it kind of like CS2 did it, where it's going to come out in waves. They're going to try to get the waves like as, frequently as possible, but they don't want to melt and overload the servers. How people will get selected is based on how long they've had Tarkov or like Arena, like the earliest people to pre-order Arena or the longest people that have had Tarkov. I think a mixture of both, because there's obviously a wave of people that have pre-ordered Arena that don't have Tarkov. I feel like that number is relatively small, but it's not zero. So there's probably going to be a mixture of like some of those people they want to reward, but I think most of it will probably be people that have had Tarkov the longest. What you need to do, though, is if you have Edge of Darkness and you have if you don't have Edge of Darkness and you've pre-ordered Arena, you've already done this because you went on the Arena site and you pre-ordered it. If you have Edge of Darkness, in order for your name to be in the list of things they can pick from, you have to go to arena.tarkov.com and log in with your Tarkov credentials. Because once you do that, it goes, oh yeah, you already have this game. But if you have never done it, then you haven't told the Arena servers that you're an EOD user, and they won't see that you have it. That's kind of how he explained it. So I've been trying, but he kind of blew past it. And I had already done that. I had logged in and seen that. And so I kind of knew what he was talking about. So I'm trying to get that word out. Like, if you have EOD, just go to arena.tarkov.com and just log in and then log out. Like, that's literally all you have to do is log in. It'll say, yeah, you have the Rizzy edition because you have EOD. Log in, log out. But
I didn't know that. I'll have to do that
too. But early December, they're doing it in waves. They're going to try and get the waves out as early as possible. That's all we know, pretty much, about Arena. Now, then he went into the meat and potatoes of the podcast, talking about what's coming in the new patch. But before we hop into that, I do want to take a second and thank the second sponsor for this episode, and that is BetterHelp. Obviously, we've worked with them for a while. We love BetterHelp. We are going into the fall season, the holiday season, and a lot of people struggle around this time. You know what I mean? Seasonal depression. A lot of people have just had hard spots in their lives around the holidays, and that mixture is oftentimes a recipe for just being really down all the time, or just legitimately really, really hard traumatic times. So BetterHelp wants you to know that they're there for you. We've gushed over BetterHelp for a while now, being a convenient, easily accessible way to get access to what is potentially could be the most important thing you ever do, which is finding an outlet, finding somebody who's trained and licensed to be there with you and talk with you and help you process, some of these things that you might be going through. So we definitely love BetterHelp.
Yeah, we talk about all the different reasons, why anybody might need therapy, right? Like, there's a million different things, whether it's mental health, depression, motivation, whether you're having issues with your relationship or your job.
Yep.
There's never anything wrong with admitting that you need a little bit of help. Literally, everybody can benefit from this at some aspect of their life. And the one of the best things that proves that, for me at least, is how many different things I come up with. There's always something to talk about. Lately, my mental health with streaming, with video games and stuff, has been much better. But I've been dealing with, as I've talked about before, dealing with stuff with my grandmother, and that's really tough, man. Dealing with dementia and there's a lot of decisions you got to make that it's really nice to be able to bounce those kinds of things off of a mental health professional. Ethical things, do I lie to my grandmother with dementia to make her not stress? These kinds of things that you can talk to your friends and you can talk to your family. You might not want to burden with them, burden them with those kinds of things, and they might not necessarily be qualified to really give you, professional unbiased advice. So, BetterHelp, just changed my life for the better, and yeah, I'd recommend it to anybody.
That and in my personal experience with therapy, it's funny, I'd never thought about that before, but was exactly that. Going in for a specific thing and eventually feeling really good about that specific thing, and then staying for multiple years after. Because there is always a thing. There's always a source of anxiety. There's always a source of stress. There's always something going on. And like, you get over the hump, something big enough happens in your brain to be like, okay, I need this. And then you realize how valuable it is.
You don't want to give
and you don't want to give it up. Yeah, for sure. So like we said, BetterHelp, very convenient, all online, super easy to schedule, super easy to swap around until you find someone that you really feel like you connect with. It's pretty cool. We love it. So you can find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Pogcast today and get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/Pogcast. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
Gracias.
So
I got crumbs
Pizza
in my bong here all over the place.
Whoa. Did you say crumbs in your bong?
Crumbs in my bung.
Bung.
That's a reference that from another podcast that one person listening would get.
I couldn't tell if it was crumbs in your bum or crumbs in your bum. Crumbs in your bum.
Yeah, I don't have no. My bong is where I keep my basketball.
In the sky.
And I don't own a basketball, so.
Oh, yes. You only get this quality content here, folks. And
for everybody fucking listening on audio, that was a Coca-Cola bottle. Just throw that out there.
Oh, God. All right. So, blitz through what is coming in the wipe in December. And we're going to have some video, some more multimedia.
Are you sending me?
I will as we go.
So cool. That pizza was so good.
It looked really good.
Do they have Blaze Pizza where you're
Yes,
from?
Blaze is good.
It's kind of newish. Yeah, it's good.
Blaze is good. Blaze is really good. We're getting the new map. Huh? Yeah, no, but please, God.
Yeah, hook my boy up. Are you sponsored by any pizza places?
No, and I've tried so hard.
We need Hot Pockets. We got pizza rolls. There's got Elios. Somebody,
anyone, dude,
hit a brother up.
Literally anyone. Okay, the new map, the new patch. We are getting the new map, Ground Zero. We're getting they pushed back the third or the second expansion of streets, but they are adding a little bit to streets. He said they're opening up some more interiors. So they're going to work on optimizing the map. We're getting a little bit more, but not like a huge streets update. We don't have multimedia for this, but this is insane. Oh, and I forgot about this. I'm so excited to get your thoughts. The BTR. Remember that? It was in the first trailer for streets.
Like the people mover, the tank.
Yeah, the tank is not a tank.
Yeah.
The BTR. It's coming in this patch in December. And it's going to rotate around streets. And you will be able to, he said it's for hire. You will be able to pay it to transport you, which is fascinating because streets is big, but not that big. But I guess if you're like full of stuff and you get an armored transport to like near where your extract is, I don't know. I don't know how
Can you blow it up? Is it like
not yet?
Is it like the train?
It is like the train currently. So for hire to transport you, it is for hire for covering fire because there is a 30 millimeter cannon on top of it. It's not like a tank, but it does have a big boom. So you're going to be able to covering fire. God only knows what that means. Like, what is the process of paying the money, selecting I want covering fire, and pointing where you want it? Like, what does that look like? You know? I don't know.
Is it going to be like fucking Call of Duty where it's like
the PDA? Yeah. I actually think that would be sick. Low key. I actually think that would be sick. And Veritas, you will be able to hire it to extract loot for you. Finally.
Interesting. And it's only one, like what, once per raid, one time per raid on one map.
I think so.
Where it's at.
And it's only on streets. The BTR is only on streets.
So I'd never be able to use it.
Yeah. But it's at least a proof of concept. You know what I mean? Yep. It's at least moving in the right direction. We've wanted dead drops in this game for so long. We've talked about it so many times. And streets is the map to do it, because the other thing we've always talked about is there's not a whole lot of reason to do it right now when like some raids are only 25 minutes long, 30 minutes long, right? Streets is the biggest map in the game. It's going to get bigger. It's got long timer. This is the map to do it on. And then maybe if they eventually either make the raid timers longer or start stitching some of the maps together, they can start doing this in other places.
Wait, so there's like a bunch of different things you can hire it for? Yeah, so it's not only like how do you like choose where the fuck to just shoot, it's what's the UI to choose like what. Hi, I'd like a pepperoni pizza. No, I would like you to come clean my garage. Nope, I would like you to blow up grandma's house.
Yep. I don't know.
And that was a reference to Call of Duty 4, by the way. Not my grandmother's house. If anybody remembers Call of Duty 4, there was actually a place on one of the maps that I think was called Overgrown. Right? Is it Overgrown, chat? Maybe. It was called, Grandma's house? Never mind. COD 4 Overgrown. Grandma's house. Which house is Grandma's house on Overgrown? I was right. 13 years ago. Jesus Christ.
Damn. All right. Interesting. So we're getting the BTR. It's finally coming. And there's a lot of interesting questions around what the hell that means. We're getting the new boss. I was wondering if because they were postponing the new expansion, if we were going to get the new boss or not, but we are. I think this is the one that's Kaban's like twin brother from the Chronicles of Rigi series. Yeah. His name is Kolentai. And Nikita said, I don't know how to translate what that means.
Kolentai?
Yeah. Something like that. Something along those lines. We are getting the Shoreline expansion or update. He kept saying this. The update.
What the fuck does that mean?
And when specifically and explicitly asked, he just said, we're just updating Shoreline. Like,
did anybody know about this? What do they do? I didn't know they were going to do anything with Shoreline.
So
imagine if they added a resort like near the water.
Here's the deal. I don't know anything. Everything is up in the air. I think like DreamHack or no, what was the other one? What was the one they did early? They did Gamescom in Germany and they did a Q&A and there was like a thing. And I think that Nikita mentioned that, the terminal or whatever that's on the southeast side of the map where the mines are. We all thought that was the map terminal. I don't think it is. I think that's the Shoreline expansion because he mentioned adding the Russian regular army as a faction of AI onto Shoreline that would man those turrets, and that would be the faction that's more friendly to bears than USEX, like the rogues are more friendly to USEX than bears. And so everybody's kind of thinking that they're opening up that little terminal, which will be a whole like shipping, thing. Connexes everywhere, boats, warehouses. It's not that much of a footprint, but it's like a whole new area.
Yeah.
POI that's not resort, you know what I mean? Which could be interesting. I would imagine that in addition to that, I would hope to Christ that in addition to that, they're going to update Shoreline, maybe update some of the POIs. Please, for the love of God, fix the audio in the resort. It's the new like worst spot in the game for audio. Like there have been many. It was interchanged for a while, and they finally put the audio. Like the resort is so bad, and it's the year of our Lord 2023, and I still can't shoot out the construction lights when I've got night vision on in the resort. You know what I mean? So
year of our Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. So Shoreline update. We have no idea. He hasn't confirmed what that is, but there are some suspicions based on what he said that it's going to be those things. Now for our next multimedia presentation. Veritas, this I'm just gonna see what you think. We are getting vaulting this next wipe. And here is what it currently looks like. Pull that up for me, Jamie. Oh, beautiful.
I
think it looks
that's quick as fuck.
Quick, dude. It looks
goddamn
so good. It looks so good.
I can't wait for the first person to, like, day one, first person's going to go vault, and they're going to go fucking skyrocket in the air 700 feet.
This, dude. How many times have you played Lighthouse and wanted to actually harm something trying to jump up those things? Dude, out the window? Oh, I'm so excited for this, dude.
Okay, you know what? You know what's missing from this, though?
What?
It's the stamina bar. It probably takes 90%.
Dude, it is missing. We even went back to look, dude. It's missing, and it's brutal. I think the stamina is the biggest question. I was really worried about this. This, to me, looks as good as I could have ever hoped for them. It's not a 3-second QuickTime event. Your gun stays up the entire time, and it happens quick enough to actually be worth doing, because half of the time when you're trying to jump up on something, in the back of your head, you know it's a 50-50 shot if you make it, and then you have to jump again. Knowing that you're going to vault up on something and how quick it is, being able to, how many times, that right there, dude, you just saw him vault out of a window. How many times have you tried to jump out of a window on reserve, but you didn't crouch enough, so you have to jump and then crouch and then put your head down and then squeeze out the window? Like, it looks as good. Like, I was really surprised. It looks
I have questions.
As good as it could have possibly looked, in my opinion.
It really does look very good. In my opinion, there's two very important things to consider.
Yeah.
That will dictate how it feels.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And the question is, do you have to hit, like, spacebar, or there's a world in which, like, if you just, like, shift, like, walk into or your whatever, like, into a thing, it automatically climbs?
That I don't know. Is the key binding of it? We don't know yet.
Yeah. Like, does it happen automatically, or do you have to press a button? So that's one thing. Actually, okay, there's three things worth mentioning. So that's the first. The second is the angle. If you're coming in at a very acute angle, not like perfectly perpendicular to like a window, right? But if you're coming from almost like the side, and you just like quickly turn, but you don't have momentum going, perpendicular. Actually, wait, that looked like maybe it was a good example. Maybe not. I like looked away. Okay, yeah, maybe not. So then that's part of it is
yep. I see what you're saying.
The angle. The other part is, if it is, like, let's say you have to hit spacebar, which I kind of hope that you have to hit spacebar. I don't want it to, like, I don't want to accidentally.
Yeah, correct. I hope it's a keybind. I don't want it to be automatic.
There's a window of time where hitting spacebar should initiate a jump versus initiate the vaulting animation, right? If you hit spacebar when you're 10 feet away, it should jump, right?
Yeah.
But the way that they get this right is it needs to be there needs to be a little bit of wiggle room where if you hit it just slightly too early, it still, like, waits.
Well, I hope it's just not spacebar. I hope it's a separate keybind.
Well, regardless, whether it's spacebar or that, because if it's another keybind, you're gonna hit the button and nothing will happen.
Oh, okay.
What I don't want to do is be sprinting. You go to hit the button, you hit it just a foot too early before the window, and then nothing happens, and then you walk into the windowsill.
Yeah.
And then you die, right? So this is just something that like a lot of games that like speed runnable games, that they do very well. Games that have really good movement, where there's some wiggle room to where the what am I trying to say? Like to where the trigger
the point of action is, where like if I want to do this, it has to be at this point. Giving a little bit of wiggle room is good. So yeah, that's a good question, right? If I'm 1 inch off the wall, will I vault over it? If I'm 2 inches off the wall, if I'm a foot off the wall, like where's the threshold, and is it wide enough to like, have some margin for error? But like none of those questions like we're able to see from this, but like, dude, in my opinion, it looks so good.
It looks very good, yeah. And a couple of people are saying the animations look a little. Honestly, the animations like third person do look a tiny bit janky, but it doesn't matter to me. I don't give a fuck.
I actually appreciate that the animations look janky because it doesn't matter realistically, and I would so much rather them work on functionality. If you're a player, it needs to work and be usable. And if my big toe clips through the counter, it does not matter. You know what I mean? It needs to be functional. It needs to be good. And them spending another year on this, making the animations perfect, or, just like, I was actually happy to see that because that's what it told me, is that it was like functionality came first and nobody, you know what I mean? Like nobody's immersion is being broken. You know what I mean?
I want to see someone die mid animation.
Yeah.
I want to see the guy put his legs over, die, and then go like, to have that momentum carry, or if it's just gonna be like insta on the ground, or whatever. I don't know, but dude, I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Very impressed with this. I was very impressed with this.
It looked so good excited the first time we saw it, but there was still some questions.
Yes,
this is even better than it was before. And I forget what it was. There was something, maybe it was like how they landed or how long it took.
Yeah.
Or there was like something about the original animations that were like, it's good, but a little bit janky.
Yeah.
This functionality and feeling wise, I mean, we can't know how it feels until you put the controller in my hands, right? But looking at it, it looks smooth as fuck.
Dude.
You don't like lose, like when you see the guy running, he doesn't like have to stop and then vault.
Yep.
So that's my question is like, do you have to get the timing perfect? Hopefully there's enough of a buffer where most reasonable people, you'll hit the button and
it'll work.
You'll be fine.
Yep. Yeah, dude. We rarely get to see things in multiple stages of development from BSG. Right, we normally just get it. We normally just like, here's VoIP or here's this. So they gave us a sneak peek before, and we were like, oh, I'm excited for that. Like, it'll be interesting to see it. And then they show us this, and I'm like, wow, that looks good. I have those exact same questions. Exactly, like, okay, how is this going to be? How granular of control do I have over it? Exactly. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about like the angle. If I'm coming in at a certain angle, do I have to completely turn my character, or can I hit it and it'll pull me over? You know what I mean? All great questions, but what we saw, W.
Now, what would be even better, a more massive W, is if like, if you were kind of like even just walking and holding down the trigger, you could go
I wonder that too. I want to know
you can shoot throughout that, because you're gonna get surprised. You're gonna bust through a window and be like, oh fuck, and you have a second or two where those shots are gonna matter. I think that's important.
If they treat it like they treat jumping, right? Like you can jump and then in the middle of that jump shoot. If however they do it is similar to that, that would be so sick to be able to vault into a window and you didn't see it and somebody peeks the door and you just like start hitting mouse one, your aim's all over the place, but maybe you clip the guy's head. Like that'd be sick.
It almost seems like it's weird. If you're moving slow, it looks like you kind of do this with the gun.
Yeah.
But when he's moving faster, it's almost like the gun is up and he's almost like using his hand. So
I noticed that too.
It looks like you'd have a better chance of shooting while vaulting, while sprinting.
At full speed. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, there's just like...
Which kind of makes sense, actually, yeah.
And I know a lot of people are like... And I understand. I'm not even saying these people are toxic. A lot of people are like, dude, there's going to be some busted spots. Some people are going to get into some weird rat spots or whatever. All that stuff. But like, all I can think about is how actually practical that is. Literally jumping through a window on reserve. Every single building in reserve has first floor windows that you can jump in and out of right now. And it's so toxic. Jumping up on the windowsill, crouching, sticking your head down, pressing, S or whatever, wiggling out. Like there's the lighthouse thing that they showed. It is so toxic climbing those rocks, dude. Being able to just vault up those things. Oh, dude, it just actually looks so practical to me for so many things in this game.
So like one of the things that I know I have publicly been the most confident about that I have said will never happen is vaulting. Yeah. I was absolutely wrong. I'm very impressed. I eat my words.
Dude.
I didn't think this would ever happen.
Yeah, me either.
Like this, and that's not like, not for nothing. That's infinitely more complicated than most people think.
Yeah.
Like most people, when you think about, they're not thinking about it from like a real software, like architecture, like not architecture, but I guess like from an engineering challenge. It's something that seems like when you're close to a ledge, you hit a button, and it's just so much more complicated than you think it is to be able to implement in a way that isn't completely and utterly busted and also looks good and feels good.
Yeah.
And of course we can only speculate based on these clips that we've seen, but as of right now, I'm willing to basically go back on everything I said and say I was wrong. I eat my words. And what I've said from the beginning too was there's no way this is going to happen. I fucking hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I was wrong.
Yeah.
I'm totally glad that I was wrong. They put their money where their mouth was. I eat the words, and yeah, I'm happy.
It looks good.
I'm stoked. It looks dope.
It looks really good. So the next thing they talked about a little bit was the new armor hitboxes and stuff like that. That's our next
That'll never, ever, ever, ever be in the game. Never.
I wish. No, I'm just kidding. So that's the other video I just sent. It's nothing like, I don't know. Nothing. We kind of already saw this. It showed, I don't know. I almost don't want to get too deep into this because like people are really mad at me for being nervous about this.
Is this the same video as last time or
no.
Is this new?
So you see,
I mean, I'm not excited about this either. But.
The helmet has two zones, a front and a back. So like the plate is, they're independently repairable and independently have durability. This is showing some of the so a lot of the vests are going to have soft armor that is unreplaceable, the grayed out ones. And then the plates, which are replaceable, and they can all take damage independently. The soft armor might be level 2 armor, and then the plates might be level 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever. You see how many different zones is there on the Thor, like shoulders and crotch and side and arm. And then they're adding the different actual armor hit boxes to accommodate for that. So if you shot him in the hand, he would take the flesh damage right now. Whereas right now, if you have armor that covers your arms, it goes all the way down. Back it up a little bit to when they go to the stash and he hovers over the armor he's got on him once they get back to the stash. So as complicated as that is, I'm glad that because now you see how they're completely reworking durability points, right? Because that armor now has 243 armor points, whereas that class 4 armor normally has 45, right? So one of the questions I had was well, if you see 111
are those points, are they the same points? Is 1 point now the same as 1 point then?
I don't know. I don't think so. They said they were changing some things, but I don't know. So it's 200 if you saw 111 out of 243, well, what does that mean? Are my back plates crushed? Are my front plates crushed? So then they showed this where it's okay, you can at least hover over and get a bird's eye view. You don't have to double click on your armor and then look at all the things. You can say, hey, all the level 2 plates, all the level 3 plates, which ones are damaged, which ones are okay.
I'm just thinking about the meta. Imagine you're running you're getting shot in the back, shot in the back, shot in the back. Okay, time to turn to the right. Well, now you're getting shot in the right. You're getting shot to the right.
Turn around,
time to
back up.
Yeah, like fucking. Oh my god, he puts his right armor plate in. He puts his right armor plate out. He puts his right armor plate in, and he gets shot all about. He does the Tarky Parky, and he gets fucking wrecked. That's what it's Smalding's about.
All right, so you can play the video. So I like, people are really excited about this. A lot of people are, and I hope it's amazing. I really, really do. He mentioned, but it's Nikita and it's on a podcast. We got no details, but they mentioned that they were changing how damage was working and how damage propagation was working, and they were working on ballistics. I don't know what that means. I don't know how much stock we can put in that. I don't know how like far they're thinking. I don't know if they're thinking about every scenario that this can be used in. But it's coming, and there's nothing we can do about it, right? So you're going to be able to replace the plates.
Can we talk about why people are excited again? Like, I need a refresher on why this is exciting. I don't quite get it, I guess.
I don't know.
Like, maybe... what problem is this solving? All I'm seeing now is a complicated system on the back end, and from a user experience perspective, getting infinitely more complicated, because now I already, looking at this, I already have like paralysis on like thinking about what to put in here, all the things you have to buy. It's just overwhelming. And I don't see this changing the time to kill. So I just don't think it's going to be any different. I just don't see it being any. You're still just going to get fucking shot and die after 4 bullets. It's just.
I keep getting in trouble. So I'm going to try to represent the other side. I think it's more realistic.
Steel man this for me. Steel man this argument.
I need to see you. It's obviously more realistic, but I think it is more than that. I think it's not just the realism card that people are excited. I think it is more immersive, and there's more control, and there's just like more granular control over your armor. Like, I can decide to put, the preparation for battle. I found a class 6 plate. I'm going to put the class 6 on my front. I'm going to put the class 5 on my back. The potential ability, we still don't have confirmation on this, or the ability to loot a person, take their plate and replace yours. I don't know if you're going to be able to take their plates and then replace it out of raid. I don't know if you're going to be able to take your plates, replace them in raid. So there are some things that can be like cool and immersive and more, just like the battlefield feels like you have more control over it. So I think those are reasons why people are excited. My thing is just the system as it stands. We ignore 90% of the information, and because so the system today is too complicated and convoluted that the community has decided it's easier to reduce the system down to a few simple staples. Heuristics. Ignore the rest, because the rest is not worth learning, because it's not going to change the outcome. You get
98% of the way to knowing everything when it's like 30 pen class 3.
Yeah, stick to the armor class times 10 is the pen you need. Wear a TV rig at level 4 or a trooper because they repair really well. Wear a gazelle or a defender at level 5, and wear a slick or a hex grid at level 6. We've taken the current system. Nobody knows about, not nobody, obviously you commenter, you know about this. Most of the community don't know about the different armor materials, the destructibility of the armor materials, and the coefficients with which how destructible an armor is gets calculated. Very few people know that a gazelle has 65 durability, but a Gen 4 full has 110 durability. When both of those armors are at full durability, the penetration chance of any given round on those two armors will be exactly the same, because they're at full durability. Once both of those armors are shot, and the Gen 4 is at 100 out of 110, and the Gazelle is at 60 out of 65, The penetration chance of the follow-up round now is completely different. And how those things are calculated, nobody understands any of that. And we reduce it down to just use these armors. These armors are good. So while I can acknowledge that all of the things people are excited for could be cool, all I'm saying is we take that system and we make it much more complicated. Do we think that all of that information will get absorbed is the question. And people really in bad faith think I just want this to fail or I hate it. I want Tarkov to be fun, man. I want it to be so good. But all I'm expressing is that that's my concern. What is this?
This is just one of the armors. Lightweight bulletproof. This is the fucking module 3M armor. It's got destructibility 0.25. The blunt throughput 0.4. Cool, man. Well, now it's like you don't know what any of this
blunt
is
throughput.
Or means.
How much blunt damage you're gonna take when getting shot, and blunt damage is the thing people mauled about all the time.
And now it's this times
14 plates?
Times 14 plates, right? So that's why it's just like people aren't good. It's going to get reduced down to a meta.
Yeah.
Where the rule is going to be, okay, if the thing has any damage under like 50%, then throw out the plate. The plate's useless.
Yeah.
And then once if you look at, there's 10 plates, if 5 of the plates are deemed useless, then you throw the armor out. Like it's going to just be some arbitrary set of rules. It's just more clicks. And at the end of the day, think about it. I love the idea of fully customizing. Like imagine if all of these plates and everything, if that all had a tangible impact on your mobility plus survivability in a way that you could go full on fucking level 1 or level 2 and you were like twice as fast moving as if you had all level 5 or level 6, right? That's all cool and well and good in a game like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But when you go through all the trouble to do all this stuff and you set everything up and then you grab a couple of plates from here because you have them in your stash. Oh, and you got to buy a couple of plates from the flea market. Oh, but you can't get these plates from the flea, so you have to buy them from Prep War. So you drag and drop those. Okay, cool. Ready to go for a raid. Oh shit, I'm dead.
Yeah.
You get another plate carrier.
It's your plate doesn't cover your armpit and a buckshot scav gets 2 pellets in your armpit, squeezing right past your class 6 plates. You're gonna that's 500 damage out of Magnum Buck or whatever. So it's like
it's more effort and more potential to have your armor not protect you.
Yeah. And think about how many times you've been like, you die and you go to the after action screen and you look at what killed you. You're like, M80, I had a class 5 rig. Like, that's so frustrating. M80, the percent chance. But now you're going to have to think, M80, thorax. What's thorax? Was it my back? Was it my front? What were the durability of those plates at that time? I was in a fight with this guy's buddy. He shot me a few times. Then this guy killed me with M80. So should the M80 have been there? Was it my side? Because that's soft armor. That's only level 2. It's just going to say thorax at the end. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want this to be so good. I know I got beat up during the live stream because, I had like 800 viewers and people were so excited for this. And I was expressing my concerns. I got beat up in chat, which is whatever, right? Like, I want this to be fun. I want this to be good. I hope that single thing we just said, they've said at the office, and like they're reworking how damage and pen works. Maybe the armor zones aren't as small as we thought. Maybe there is no armpit zone. Maybe arms still do cover that. Like, we don't know. And so I really am going to reserve judgment. But I'm also not going to lie and say that I'm not concerned about these things. Because in general, the most complicated things in Tarkov just get reduced down to simplicities. And we're taking one of the most complicated aspects of Tarkov and cranking up the complexity. And I just don't know when you can get 5-6A1 from level 2 proper or level 2 Peacekeeper, when you can get M80 at level 3 Peacekeeper or whatever. I just don't know that any of this has a meaningful impact on the time to kill in the game, which means this really cool system you'll use 4 times right? Because you'll set it all up and then you'll die to something and you'll be frustrated. And you'll set it all up and you'll die to something and you'll be frustrated. And then you'll scroll over and you'll look at Ragman and he's selling a TV rig already set up for 100,000 rubles. And you'll be like, I can save myself 5 minutes. So you'll buy the TV rig with everything set up and you'll just run that. That's what I'm going to do, so.
And people are saying like, that's why they have presets. I would be very skeptical if you preset all of the individual things, right? And if you went to go buy it and assemble it all, I bet you some of them are probably going to come from the flea. Some of them are probably going to come from the traders. Maybe not. Maybe they'll all be on the traders and they'll be unlimited. But it's almost definitely going to just be more expensive. All the constituent parts. Yeah. It's going to be 10,000 for all the things plus the container. It's. I just don't.
That's a great question too.
I just don't know what the upside is. Like what the upside to me, the only thing that is best case scenario is the time to kill is longer.
Yeah.
But like, and if that's the best possible case scenario, they could have just like increased a couple of integers and called it a day. So I don't quite get it.
That's another good question about like the plates. And are there going to be like global limits and player limits? Like, are all the good plates just going to get sold out and it's just going to be another thing where it's like, I have a few hours to play. I'm going to hop in. Oh, I can't run the good plates. I have to buy the TV rig. And then now you're just getting dumpstered by the people like me who play 40 hours a week and hoarding. You know what I mean? I've got thick cases and thick cases full of the good plates. You know what I mean? Because I can buy them on reset. I don't know. Like I said, this is speculation. I'll be glad to do exactly what Veritas just did. And the week after the wipe, come on the podcast and be like, I eat my words. This system is dope. I would genuinely prefer that outcome to be like, past Jesse was so stupid. He doubted VSG. But right now, present Jesse is just concerned that it will be more complicated, less effective, and it'll just get reduced down to either the identical meta we have now or just a new meta of if you can print money, buy this armor and these plates, and if you can't print money, buy this armor and these plates. And then we just have people running 2 armors.
Now, see, nobody... I know you were kidding, but like, there's no reason to say stupid Jesse got this wrong because BSG hasn't told us why they're doing it or what the benefit is. They haven't sold us on it. So we're just speculating as to why, what, where, when, how. We know nothing. So I'm saying I can't conceive of what the benefit is. That's not saying that there will be no benefit, but like somebody I've heard a million people propose a million things and they're all fucking lame. So if it's there, nobody's told me yet.
Yeah.
And
for the record,
like if there was a front plate and a back plate and there were almost like you could have 2 plates on all armor and the only thing that was different, there was one size, and the only thing that was different is the armor class of that plate. Well, then like now instantly you have it's much closer to the actual COD, like where you're just fucking replacing stuff. Like that could be cool in a slightly slower, more, you have to think a little bit more way. But when it's like, okay, there's 1 and okay, there's 2 and okay, there's 3 and oh wait, this one's half done. Okay, let me look at this one. Oh, this one's 3/4.
Let me pull up the 80. Wiki. When do I throw these? Like
I have an 80% class 3 1x1 plate and then a 50% class 5 1x1. Do I put it in? Do I swap it? I don't know. Am I going to get shot in my clavicle? I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm dead because I was not playing the game and I was too busy.
In my inventory.
Like I just
and what you had just said, if it was just front plate, back plate on all armors, you get 90% of the additional immersion at 10% of the complexity. Just front plate, back plate. And you can, and now, like, even literally not changing the armor hitboxes, but just saying all the armors you have now, you can just pull the plates out and put in whatever class plate you want. If it was just 1 plate, you get 70% of the immersion. If you break it up into like 2, maybe 3 zones max, now you get 90% of the immersion with 10% of the complication. Like bringing a Thor armor from 1 single zone to 12 seems crazy. I don't know.
Now, okay, here's one way to look at it though. Imagine if take the back of your Ford armor. Just imagine it's a square box, right? and this is not how it's going to be, but just thought experiment. Imagine you have one thing that has 100 durability and it takes up your whole back, and you're running and the guy shoots you in your back and it goes, 70, 40, 10, you're dead. Now imagine it's instead of a big square, it's a 4x4 grid. If you got shot in the bottom left up 1, bottom left up 2, bottom left, then it would partially damage 1, partially damage 2, partially damage 3, partially damage 4, and you took no damage.
Yeah.
Whereas before it would be no damage, no damage, no damage, dead. Right? So there's a world in which it does add the time to kill, because here's what you need to think. Right now, if you get shot in the back, your whole armor gets zeroed.
Yeah, for sure.
So how they split the durability is important, because imagine if you had 100 durability on the entire armor, it could take 4 shots, right?
Yeah.
Well, really what it should be is 100 durability on the back and then 100 durability on the front.
Yeah.
That means you could take twice as many bullets technically.
Theoretically, yeah.
Whereas if it was 50 and 50, you've not changed a fucking thing.
But that's, exactly. And those are the questions we have. We're like, that class 4 armor going from 50 durability in the game right now to 240, is that like a 1-to-1 scale of 240 where like you could, like you said, 2-3 shots in the same plate, you're still dead, but it's effectively a ton. But even the problem with that, because that's how I would want them to do it, right? Because that gives us the best chance of increasing the time to kill, which in my opinion, it would benefit the game. There's still so many rounds with like high 50 pen and 85 damage. That like there's still so many rounds that like
ignore armor
or ignore the common armors. You know what I mean? And once again, you start to get into this realm of like, the more complicated it gets, how complicated do you want it to go, knowing you don't have anything protecting your face? You know what I mean? Like, you could have an armor with 7,000 durability, and I'm not saying get rid of the face hitbox, because that is a classic Tarkov thing. Like, but what I'm saying is, if you leave the face hitbox alone, how complicated do you want the armor to be? Because at some point you'd be like, I'm doing a lot of work here to potentially lose it all with a face tap from a TT. So it's like you almost want it to be a little bit more balanced. So yeah, there's a world where it does increase the time to kill, and in that, I would say, hey, that's a W.
You know what I'm worried about?
Concerned, yeah.
The thing I'm worried about the most is this could potentially be a rich get richer, widen the gap between the high end and the low end even more. Because think about it. If you have 100 million rubles and I'm a plebeian and I have 300,000, who is going to be able to afford paying 12,000 rubles a bullet?
Yeah.
You will, which means you get to avoid armor. Your bullets now are armor agnostic, where if you have 60 pen bullet, then 1 to 6 tier armor effectively is like the same. Whereas if I'm poor and I've got the 30, then I, as the Chad, am unkillable unless I really fucking get, totally out of. So there's a world in which it does what we want, but only benefits the uber rich people who can buy all the ammo. So a huge part of this is what's the availability of the ammo mixed with the economy, the economics and the cost of ammo, mixed with how much money do people have, mixed with the availability of the high tier armor, mixed with,
because we see this happen.
If it increases the time to kill.
We see this happen where like we get all this back and forth where like something happens that pulls the rich get richer, but it's hard for this. And then they give, people who are poor, this opportunity to counter. And then they do some other change and the rich get richer. It's like, let me ask you a genuine question. If you're listening to this podcast, do you think your desire to run anything other than an SVT will increase or decrease? Your brain's going to be like, I know armor's more complicated now. And I know at level 2 proper, I get access to a gun that ignores armor. Tell me why you're gonna run an MP5 or an AK or an RF. Like it's just, you know what I mean? Like it reduces. Like yes, that immersion is there. The cool factor is there when you survive the raids. But looking at the broad-reaching ripple effect of this is, it's like, will this make you want to move around more or less? Will this make you want to run, more or less guns? Will this make you more or less confident when fighting somebody? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they figured it out. I hope it's great. And I also, for the record, want people to know that I don't think you're dumb if you're excited about this. Because once again, I can understand how it's a cool concept. But don't say I'm dumb for being hesitant, knowing BSG. So that's that. I don't know, man, but it's complicated. Okay. The updated recoil is coming. This patch, the new recoil. Alongside that, we're also getting the new recoil in the ETS eventually. So you're going to be able to test it, which is good because that means they want feedback and they're not just like, yeah, we've nailed it, we're going to ship it, right? It means they want feedback. The next multimedia thing I have for you is unfortunately a 3-in-1. I really wanted them to just like show somebody at the range shooting a gun and somebody at the range on old recoil shooting that same gun. Like that's what I want to see.
Side by side. Here's something that some Tarkov content creator needs to do right now. You're welcome for like the 100,000 view is you need to go and make like TikToks of you dancing. It'll be remember the Harlem Shake meme? You do that in Tarkov. Genius idea. Anyway, change the subject.
So the video is the new recoil, dude. The new recoil, left shoulder shooting, and the new blind fire. They're showing them all off, which means watch the video. I think the recoil looks pretty good. Oh, I haven't sent it to you. But also know that like we haven't had proper.
But have we had proper?
We have had proper, but not proper, like testing of it. So, like some of those shots, the climb is not nearly as bad vertically.
There's something weird though.
Yeah.
Like when he sidesteps,
exactly. He's strafing and then left shoulder.
It's a little weird, but
I'm going to come back to that. We'll watch the video and then we'll talk about the left shoulder. This is just like a pistol. He just shows the left shoulder thing a little bit. I don't know why you would ever do this and walk around and shoot a scav like that. You would never, but they put that in the video.
It's interesting that I'm not like a fucking tactical Andy, but like if you were to with a pistol, would you like change the shoulder but while keeping like your dominant hand, the right hand?
Oh, well, we'll talk about that. And then a little bit more recoil right here. And so to think that those are relatively lightly modded guns, I think the recoil looks pretty good. And then this is the new blind fire, which is much more effective.
Did he spray into the bag?
Yeah, he did.
Fuck is the point of that?
The over the head is much more effective.
Ooh, I like it. I like that he's like kind of hip firing.
Yeah. Yep. The over the head one is much more of like a 90 degree as opposed to like the 45 that we have now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So new blind fire. I think they showed a video with like pistols where he like does it and puts his hand on his chest in the third person or something.
Why does this look so fucking weird? I can't tell. Did he switch his hand? No.
So here's the thing. Here's what they said. what they did was,
Oh,
yeah. So they talked about how there's like two ways you would swap to left shoulder shooting. There's like a really methodical, prepared method where you're highly trained on that, where you literally swap shoulders, you swap your hand positions, and you like have to practice on that. And then like a really quick and dirty, if you have to clear a room, you would literally just put the buttstock of the gun on the other shoulder and lean your head the other way. That's what they put in the game. And I tentatively think that that's the right option because
can you ADS here, or is
yes,
it only?
No, you can. In the very beginning, he was ADSing with the left shoulder in the very beginning of the clip. But like you're kind of leaned a little bit because of the nature of it. I like it this way because it would feel like the pistol swap animation where it's not fast enough to be usable, so nobody ever uses the quick swap to the pistol. If it was a 3-second animation for you to swap shoulders, swap your hands, like nobody's doing that in a fight, right? But that quick, you actually might if you're forced on a left hand. You know what I mean? To do that keybind and to make that swap and know that you can take a left hand on a slightly tighter angle. I'll do that in a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only downside is that you would never have a true left hand. Like,
that recoil looks good.
Yeah, it does. You'd never have a true left hand grip, right?
Yeah.
Which like, you know, I mean, I might actually use just because, I mean, I'm left-handed in CS:GO. And I prefer that. I got used to it. I would totally be fucking down. Now the problem there, my guess, I wonder how much of that has to do with their fucking animations.
Yeah.
Or they need to redo everything. Like, it's a lot more work if you have different hands on different things because the guns aren't ambidextrous. You still have charging handles on the same side and whatever, you know, like, so that, I wonder if that was not just a practical, it was just easier, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. But I really, once again, tentatively, I need to get it in my hands. I like it this way. I like that it's quick and it'll just be on its own bind. You don't ever have to use it if you don't want to, but it's there. And I think it will be a slightly like skill advantage to have this down and to practice with it when you're taking left hands. I think it's a win-win. It seems quick enough to be usable in a fight and simple enough of a mechanic to be completely ignorable if you don't care about it. And I think that's a good spot to be. Once again, for Tarkov, not wanting them to like over-engineer it, that's a good spot to me. I was terrified this was going to be a 3-second QuickTime animation. Dude, just look at this recoil.
I mean, it looks a lot better.
On a basically stock AK with the nipple sight. You know what I mean? Like, that's not bad.
I like that there's more, there's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like more chaotic camera recoil. Like your head and your shoulder are being like but not so much that it's like hard to see.
Yes.
I think it's just a really good way of,
and there's a little bit more backward momentum of the gun coming at you, not up, right? Which
it feels more intense, but not hard to control.
Yeah, intense is a good way.
Immersive. It's more immersive.
Intense is a good way to put it. It's chaos. I'm shooting a full auto gun, but I'm not shooting the tree above that guy. You know what I mean? Like
that's what it looks like when I shoot fucking full auto. It's like not all over the place. I can control it pretty well.
And this is, by the way, like what we've always talked about. Not everybody. Okay. People have always been frustrated. If you want less recoil on the guns, so you want all the guns to be laser beams like they were in 10.3 where the M4 had 19 vertical recoil. It's like, no, I want this.
I want better.
This is chaotic recoil. Energy. This means if I'm shooting at you and you're running away, I might hit you in the leg, then the arm, then the thorax, but I'm never shooting you once in the thorax and then shooting Jupiter. You know what I mean? It's like I'm sending a chaos, a volley of bullets in your direction, and it's controllable. So I wish they had done a more side-by-side. I wish we had gotten a little bit more out of the recoil. But what I'm seeing here, I'm actually excited about it.
looks great.
And the fact that they're like, hey, we're going to put it on the ETS and gather feedback is another good sign, in my opinion.
Watch the M4 is still like complete and underdog shit, and now
dude,
it's just going to be fucking Russian AK biased.
No, dude, give the stock M4 some love. Like these clips make me actually excited for early wipe. You know what I mean? Like actual fights with like lightly modded guns that are like usable but also escapable. It's not going to be a laser beam of like, because that's what it feels like we have. It feels like there's two types of guns. Guns that can land 11 consecutive shots on my thorax, or guns that shoot me once in the toe and then once at a 45-degree angle up. And I don't like either of those. I don't like feeling like the dude across the street with the meta M4 is like thorax, because there's no recoil. I like that. I like what we just saw, the chaotic energy, but I'm still kind of in your character model. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I mean, all the games that we were comparing back in the day when I was like talking about the recoil, and I was I was gonna do a video where I compared all the different games or whatever. Every one of those games, BattleBit, COD, what was the other one? BattleBit, COD, Insurgency.
Oh, okay.
Every gun felt good in a totally different, unique way.
Yes, BattleBit was
right now
very
with Tarkov,
much so like that.
And right now with Tarkov, every gun feels like shit unless you fully mod it, and then it feels stupid.
And they all feel bad in the same way.
Yeah.
And then when they feel good, they all feel good in the same way. It's like, oh yeah, I have a little 3-shot burst and then I'm a laser beam. You know what I mean? So yeah, I am pretty excited. I'm pretty excited for what they showed. I'm excited to test it, and that's cool. I legitimately think the left shoulder shooting, once again, I don't know how effective it's going to be, but I think it's the best I could have hoped for coming out of VSG. I was really worried they were going to over-engineer it, and it's simple and quick. And I think that's all it needs to be usable in the game, and then they can refine from there. But if the quick swap pistol animation, I was so excited for that because I was constantly thinking about how sick clips like that would be. It's too slow. Nobody uses it. You know what I mean? And you're too wobbly. So like this looks pretty usable. And then the blind fire, I think the blind fire looks better. I think it's way more usable being closer to a 90-degree angle instead of like.
And we didn't see it first person though, which is all that matters.
You're right. Yeah, that's true. Okay, last video. Okay, and this is a really interesting one. I'm excited to get your take on. Achievements, bro. Achievements. Watch this and tell me this doesn't look cooler than what you ever would have thought it would be. You got the little notification in the bottom right. You completed an achievement. They've completely redone the character screen. Dude, that's sick. There's rare achievements, legendary achievements, common achievements. We don't know if they have rewards yet. And it looks like I've paused and gone through all those. Dude, we're finally getting the separation of the PNC and the scav in the character screen.
Oh, there you go.
Finally, which is kind of cool. And then, okay, so we'll go through the video and then I'll go back and talk about it. There's, you're going to be able to put guns. This is for the audio listener. Put guns. What? Yeah, there was a new thing in the hideout.
I never thought this was going to be added. I fucking photoshopped this shit up 75 years ago.
The weapon stand?
Yeah.
Oh, that's been in all white, brother. What
do you mean?
Yeah, since August, this weapon stand has been in.
This is in the game already?
In the game.
Oh yeah. I mean, I had no idea. Literally had no. I haven't watched the game or played the game, let alone gone on my foot. Damn.
But what's new is what you're about to see, which is you can pick 3 guns on your weapon stand. You can set them as favorite, which is what he's doing right now. And then you can view your friends and maybe others, I don't know, but definitely your friends. You can view your friend's profile. There's a new friend profile, and any one of those favorited guns, you can open and copy that preset.
Holy shit.
And you can see, so this is the profile. You see what achievements your friend has done. You can see their survival rate and their stats. And then you can open their presets and save them.
Bro.
You.
I just wish they did this when I gave a fuck. Like, I would be so, like, honestly, like, this is everything I wanted, like, 2 years ago. And now I want to be more excited, but I be acting.
I get it.
I don't
get it.
fucking care. But it's so good.
It's so good.
And I feel nothing. I feel nothing! Bro! I wanted this!
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Dude, I get it. But it's clean. It's so clean. So that's all the video. I mean, I have a lot of questions. So here we actually have some information. Here's the thing. He said your achievements will never reset between wipes. They'll add more achievements every wipe. So that's a W because there's some sort of carryover between wipes now.
Get 25 scav left leg shots on customs, and then next wipe it's going to be get 27 scav right leg shots on
even
shoreline.
If it is that's fine, because what it allows for the more casual players to actually work through the achievement list. Because you might not get this wipe, but you don't have to redo them all. So it's much more incentivized for like the more casual players to do something. I think that's a W. And then if they can actually add interesting achievements throughout each wipe, then that's a W as well. Oh, this is
my quality of life suggestion short number 5. Where I had you could fucking save presets.
Oh, I remember this. And then yeah.
And I photoshopped up like the fucking Kiba gun wall on the side.
Yep.
It's so dark, Jesus.
And then you put the gun up there. Yeah.
And that was a preset.
Yep.
And I proposed this. Where's like the description? Can I see when? When did I propose this?
I don't know.
April 6th, 2022.
Yeah.
So almost 2 years ago.
Yep.
Like a year and a half ago, I guess.
Yeah. But the achievements,
damn, dude.
I think the achievements are really cool. And here's the thing, man. Here's my suspicions. So they talked about the achievements pretty in depth, not in this past podcast, but in the previous podcast. He had actually said that they were considering some sort of prestige system, and that he literally said, and that's going to be a part of the achievement update. So there's a world where they're not doing the prestige in this wipe. They're adding that later. There's a world where you have to unlock a certain amount of achievements to gain the ability to prestige or something like that. Here's the other interesting thing. I went through and I paused and I looked at all of the achievements, and some of them are direct quests we have in the game. Kill Killa 100 times. Kill every boss. Kill every boss without dying. So I'm actually thinking that they're maybe moving some of these more toxic quests into achievements that you can accomplish once, have the badge of honor that you accomplished it, and potentially my tinfoil hat is you kill Killa 100 times, you unlock the ability to purchase the tracksuit, and because the achievement doesn't reset, it stays.
Honestly, that's a W.
It would be a W. It's complete tinfoil hat.
No, that'd be great, dude. Do you have any like long-term relationships that you had in your life that like ended on okay terms?
No.
Shit. Well, I was just gonna say, imagine someone was like, "Yo, did you hear Heather got her master's degree?"
Dude. My
and you'd
first
be like,
girlfriend's name was Heather.
That's why I said that.
Yeah, of course.
And you'd be like, sick, man. You would feel nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
I'm happy for Heather.
Yep. Heather's been crushing it, dude.
I'm gonna say, like, oh, that's so awesome, and I'm doing it to be polite.
Yeah.
Good for Heather.
Okay. We'll blitz through the rest because we're already at 2 hours and 15 minutes. The magazine loading presets, that's literally just like you can set presets for magazines and load it a specific way. Cool.
Oh my god, with like the stacking bullets.
Yes.
Fucking lol. I can't wait to see the meta, dude. I can't wait. It's gonna be like every time I go up to the plate, undo my strap 3 times on my thing, tap the bat, do the cross on the plate, wiggle my elbow 6 times, and then 10% of the time I hit a home run. It's going to be some superstition galore.
I think it'll be more so used as like when I run an M4, I want 2 60s with 5.5A1 and I want 2 30s with 5.6A1 because I don't want to be using on my 5.6A1. And it's just like boom. Like you can fill the mag all the way. It doesn't have to be.
Is it one? Is it like is it a preset for like a group of mags or for one individual mag?
I have no idea.
Because if it's an individual mag, then that makes no sense.
That makes no sense. I don't know. We don't get any information on that. Lightkeeper services. Okay. When you get at a high enough reputation, services. When you get a high enough reputation with Lightkeeper, which it's going to be really toxic if they add these things and don't change getting to Lightkeeper because so few people get to Lightkeeper, you will be able to hire him to do things for you or purchase services from him. The 3 services.
M for M on Craigslist.
Yeah. The 3 services that you'll be able to purchase that have been confirmed. Calling Zerachi in for support.
You up?
Yeah. So I'm assuming it'll be like a flare, a blue flare you only get from Zerachi or from Lightkeeper. Zerachi spawns on the map and is friendly to you, I would imagine.
Is that what they call it now?
Yeah.
The friendly wiggle?
Goon support. So you'll be able to do the same thing and spawn the goons.
Why does everything sound so homoerotic? Is that just the mood I'm in, I guess?
I guess. And then the third thing is a temporary truce with the cultists. Those are Lightkeeper services. We have new guns. We're getting I forget what it's called, but it's the SMG version of the Val. So 9x39 in like an SMG. Suppressed and unsuppressed. We are getting an RPD, which is like a belt-fed LMG that shoots 7.62x39. We are getting the Sig Spear, chambered in 6.8 Creedmoor. New caliber.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
27 options right off the gate.
9891, that's what it's called, yeah. And we are getting an updated SKS, is what he said. I don't know what that means. We are getting new quests and quest rebalance. They've said that every wipe. Don't expect much. New voice lines for bosses. Bipods and weapon mounting is coming later. That was originally supposed to come in this wipe, but that's getting moved. But that's okay because everything we've seen so far has been a huge W. So whatever.
Sorry, I was.
Are you okay?
I was just by dudes and PMC mounting. I'm still for some reason in a real. I'm in a real sexual. I'm tired. I can't stop thinking about Ragman and like Prapor.
By dudes and PMC mounting
in the marked room, if you know what I mean.
Holy. They are adding an RPG. It is not coming this wipe. The RPG will eventually be how you counter the BTR on streets. Right now, there is no counter. No RPG. Anti-cheat. Banned over 10,000 cheaters between October and November. Patch point 14 is specifically identifying a few vulnerabilities that cheat developers use. And they've got a big part of their team working on anti-cheat. Hold on. I'm stalling. Wait a second. In exactly 42 days, 18 hours, 48 minutes, and 47 seconds, Edge of Darkness will no longer be purchasable. If you have Edge of Darkness, you keep it. You keep your Gamma, you keep your stash, you keep everything. But in 42 days, which is December 31st, I think, you will not be able to buy it anymore. So, potentially a Black Friday sale. If you're really into Tarkov, I'm not trying to sell you on it. I don't make any money from it, but it's a crazy value in the sense that you get Arena and you get the big stash and you get the Gamma and all the stuff. So if you've been on the fence about it, you have 42 days to decide. Let it be known. Yeah, that was the podcast.
Wow. I mean, they're honestly like some of the biggest W's I've heard in a very long time.
Same. And importantly, some of the biggest W's we've seen. Because you know even better than I, how many times has there been a podcast and we were told this is coming and we got really excited and maybe it wasn't what we thought it was. So to see the recoil and us very critically go like, that looks pretty good. Left shoulder shooting.
Normally if this is coming and it's something we didn't want and it looks like shit, and then it comes out worse.
But this is like 8 things we've wanted for a long time, and I'm genuinely impressed by how they all look. Like, the achievements blew me away. I mean, not that the aesthetic really has anything to do with it, but I'm like, it just looks clean. It looks good. I want to grind all those achievements. The left shoulder shooting, the blind fire, the recoil, the vaulting. Dude. W podcast. So, he kept calling it the New Year's patch. Everyone's wondering when it is. I would imagine very late December, right? It's not, very late December. We're going to get Arena in the beginning. They're going to give us a few weeks, I'm sure. The New Year's patch.
That makes me think it's going to be like January 7th.
I mean, it legitimately might. Which
might actually make sense if they like release Arena.
Yeah.
And then like let that go over the New Year's, fucking chill, relax, and then like once everything, because normally they take their vacation the first week of January or the first couple of weeks, something like that, right?
Which is like right when they wipe, so it's always a brutal time. So it could even be. But I am very excited for this wipe, and like we are like a week or two away from potentially the first new waves of Arena coming out. That's going to hold me over until the wipe. I'm super excited about the wipe. Huge W. Good time to be into Tarkov right now. So I'm excited to see how all this stuff happens. I do want to talk about Twitch Rivals, but we'll talk about that next week or on the PP because we're at 2.5 hours already. Twitch Rivals, the TLDR was like, it was the absolute best Twitch Rivals for Tarkov they've ever done. They're finally starting to...
I saw you tweet that. I want to hear more.
They're finally starting to understand how to do it, but there were some like classic, like, okay. like, you know what I mean? But it was good. So yeah. That's the stuff. Hostess. Bye, dudes. And mounting PMCs, boys. That is your word of the day. Type that in the comments and we'll know. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't. But yeah.
Yeah.
What?
No, I was just wondering how that would fucking change the content algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm.
We'd somehow get a bunch of like commenters like, this isn't what I expected.
Wait a minute.
Came here and I searched for buy dudes and whatever. And this isn't what I expected.
Also, where can I buy this Tarkov game? But yeah. So thank you guys for hanging. Thank you guys for being a part of the community. We appreciate it. Once again, if you want more of this content, I was going to, never mind.
Come look at our PPs.
Look at our PPs, patreon.com/thepodcastpod. And it's pretty cool. So you should check it out. Thank you again to HelloFresh and BetterHelp for sponsoring the episode. For our PPs, for our patrons, this will be live tomorrow. For everyone else, it'll be live on Monday. Thank you guys for hanging. We'll definitely see you on the next one.